Hello one and all, and welcome to Seen Through Glass. I'm whispering because it is 5 in the morning. Don't want to wake up everyone in my house, but today I'm off to Germany to drive the new Ford Mustang. So we have made it to Munich, Germany. We are through security, the plane landed. It was an easy flight, I did some editing, and we are now going to go and find the car, head to the hotel, get out our camera gear, and then go and find some amazing driving roads. I am excited to pick up this Ford Mustang. So after a very long journey, here we are in Germany with the gold Ford Mustang GT. So we've had this car now for almost 36 hours. Paul Wallace has stolen all the driving time. I am only just jumping into it now, and as you can see, the clouds have come over, but that's actually quite good because it means you can really see the gold in its full effect rather than the sun beaming off and blinding everybody. We have found a quiet and desolate part of Germany. Anyway, we're in a beautiful part of South Germany. The roads here are insane, the views are incredible, and this Mustang is so much fun. So as I mentioned very briefly there, this is the V8 Ford Mustang GT, 5 litre, so actually really interesting to compare this with my own 5 litre V8 in my Jaguar F-Type. This car has about 100 brake horsepower less than the F-Type, so it's not a direct comparison, but still interesting to see. Another 5 litre V8. It's been sounding freaking good, this car, on the drives that we've been doing today and yesterday, just pootling around town as well. And with this crazy gold wrap, I think this car looks awesome. I've always been a huge fan of Ford Mustangs, and when this most recent shape came out, I literally fell in love with it. I also remember seeing one in the Need for Speed film, which had been tuned up like mad, and after watching that I left being like, I want a Ford Mustang and I want to make it a project car. I know there are lots and lots of companies that offer different tuning packages, but to cruise around with a 5 litre V8, it feels awesome, and it is so quick. Anyway, I think that's enough of me standing outside the car and talking. Let's jump in. You can hear the V8 rumble and see what this car is like to drive. Here we are inside. It's just that rumble sounds so good. Now, it is quite weird being in a left-hand drive manual, because basically everything's back to front. Not only am I driving on the wrong side of the road for me, I'm sitting on the wrong side of the car, and the gear lever is operated with my opposite hand, so everything's a bit back to front. I've spent most of today in the passenger seat of this car, and all I can say is that's a very comfortable place to be. However, it is incredibly frustrating because you hear the rumble of this car, you feel the power, and all you want to do is drive it. So we have been incredibly lucky because
because Ford have brought us to some insanely beautiful driving roads in the south of Germany. I had no idea these roads existed. Small, smooth, twisting roads through German countryside, and it has been the perfect place to put the power down on this Mustang. Unfortunately, it's clouded over a bit since this morning when Paul Wallace was tearing around the roads, but I'm not going to hold that back as an excuse. I am going to still have some fun with this car. It is outrageous that you can have a 5-litre V8 in the UK for under 40 grand with over 400 brake horsepower. In this body, I mean, it ticks so many boxes and it's just so cool. But the sound, that V8 rumble, it's interesting because the F-Type obviously has a V8 which is very loud, very noisy, very in your face, but it's quite raw. This is a really smooth, gargling V8 that kind of sends you to sleep, which is not ideal. But it is a powerhouse. It just delivers the power in massive, massive chunks, as I've proved there. This is the cockpit if you're not familiar with it. You've got your dials and various information, the steering wheel with the iconic Mustang logo, touchscreen sat-nav, aircon, all these different things. Here are all your driving modes down here. I don't know if you can see them properly with my point of view glasses. Affects your steering, various things. We are in Sport right now, which keeps traction control on, which I think is very important, not only on public roads, but also for someone who has no idea how to control this car, having only driven it for about half an hour. So we are going to have some fun in sport mode, and as you can see straight away, it is plenty. The power delivery from about 4,000 RPM onwards is just ridiculous. This thing flies. You suddenly look down at the speedo and you're like, whoa, they're going way too quickly. Obviously, a big criticism of American cars in general from the media and the internet is the handling. And really, this is the first time I've driven an American car on European roads, so it's hard to compare exactly where this fits with its sort of rivals performance-wise and handling-wise. It does feel a bit like a big car when you're really trying to turn it around corners quickly. But I think if you'd paid whatever it is, 35 grand for this car, you would be ecstatic. I mean, it is still a sports car, don't get me wrong. It's definitely more of a GT, but so is the F-Type. And that means that it is perfect for cruising on the motorway. And then when you turn off the motorway and come across these beautiful German country roads, if you live in Germany, you can have so much fun. I mean, look at this. This is my own private racetrack for about 3 minutes. And in this V8, oh, I'm going to enjoy it. Through the forest section, it's like bloody Monaco Rallycross in Germany. Well, I'm going to do that road again. It was bloody brilliant. What a freaking beast! Obviously, one big thing about the Mustang is the way it looks. It has such a presence on the road. It looks mean. I think it looks really freaking cool. And I think it looks quick, even when it's stationary. It's one of those things. But obviously when you're inside, you're not looking at the car. So does it still retain that character? And I think yes. It is still a cool place to be. Obviously, it is not like sitting in the plushest car in the world, because you have to remember it is a car that's sub 40 grand. So some of the materials aren't premium leather, but to be honest, it really doesn't bother me. It's a cool environment. You have these cool toggle switches. I really like the way you switch modes between the driving modes and the steering modes. They're like sort of airplane switches. I'll try and show you them now with some interior shots. It's just kind of cool little touches which make it a bit more special than the usual generic dials you get in some of the main manufacturers who just copy and paste all of their equipment from one model to the other. and the amount of attention it gets reminds you just how special it looks on the outside. And then every now and again you catch yourself in the mirror, and in this car particularly, being chrome gold, it's like, whoa! Would I have one in the UK? I think I would. You know what? I think if I had enough money to spend on a 35 to 40 grand car and I didn't know what to get, Mustang would be so near the top of my list. It's just such a beast, and it's so cool. It's so much cooler than what you could probably get for that money new. I don't really know, I need to look, but I imagine sort of, you know, mid-level 3 Series and sort of mid-level C classes and stuff, but how boring are they compared to this? A V8 Mustang. Just about to say I own a Mustang. It's just like, cool. Another thing this car can do incredibly well is the transition between sporty V8 beast to luxury cruiser, and I touched on it a bit earlier, and it's similar to my car, the F-Type, in that kind of way of GT to crazy sports coupe in the flick of a button. But I find in this Mustang, you don't need a flick of the button. We definitely haven't had long enough to play around with all the different sporting modes, and there are normal driving modes, sport mode, a track mode, a snow mode, there's different steering you can do, so I'm sure they all make a difference. But to be honest, even if you leave this car on normal, I found it the same. I haven't found a huge difference between normal and sport, but that is maybe because I haven't had enough time to extract the maximum from this car. But again, we're now on an insanely beautiful German country road, and this car is just so cool. I would be intrigued to see how it would handle on some of the smaller, more nimble roads that we went on with Shmee 150 and obviously Paul, who's sitting right next to me, a few weeks ago when we were doing our trip down to Monaco, because sometimes we've thrown this car into corners today and it has felt a little bit big and it has swayed a little bit too much. But I think that's to be expected when you're in fundamentally a GT car. We are now approaching one of Germany's most famous assets to any petrol head, an Autobahn. So we are headed back to Munich now. We've had a full day's driving. We've been up since about 9 AM. Actually, we've been up earlier than that. We got in the car at about 9 AM. We have been driving all day. And these Autobahns are so cool. And in a big V8 like this, wow, it's just a powerhouse. And this car's got cruise control. So we are winning on our way back to Munich. It has been an amazing 36 hours though. I have loved it. I love Germany now. I'm coming back to Germany. Well, not tomorrow, that would be unrealistic, but I want to come back to Germany really soon. I hope this has given you a little bit of insight of what you can expect when these Mustangs start hitting the shores in the UK. Europe, you've already got some. We've seen some on the road. And America, you know about these cars. You'll just be like, finally you guys are waking up to how insane the Mustang is. Yes, finally we are waking up to how insane the Mustang is. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up in the UK if you're excited to see the Mustang. Give it a thumbs up anywhere in the world. And make sure you subscribe for plenty more videos to come. I've teamed up with Tim.
Hello, one and all.
Oh God. It is supercars or sports cars on my occasion.
You can have supercars, it's an F-Type R, it's alright.
We are going to hunt down Paul and Seb. Oh look, that truck Shmee blue, buy it.
I don't just buy anything with wheels because it's blue.